When it comes to creating real desire, the truth is this: it's never just about the act itself, it's about the energy behind it. Think about it. Anyone can perform the mechanics, anyone can go through the motions, but what makes someone unforgettable, what makes a man crave you long after the moment is over, is the way you make him feel while doing it. And that feeling comes from energy. When you show up not as someone who is simply completing a task, but as someone who is fully present, deeply invested, and passionate in the moment, he feels something much deeper than pleasure. He feels chosen. That energy is what turns a fleeting experience into something powerful and lasting. Imagine the difference between someone touching you absent-mindedly, distracted, almost as if they're somewhere else, versus someone who touches you with intent, who is fully aware of the effect they're having, who seems to be pouring all of themselves into you. One of these leaves no memory, the other imprints itself in your mind and body. That is the secret. A man craves not just the sensation, but the devotion behind it. When you bring your energy, when you let him feel that you want to be there, that you enjoy every second, he begins to associate you not only with pleasure, but with an emotional depth he can't easily find elsewhere. This is why confidence and passion matter so much. If you're timid, if your energy is apologetic, if you seem like you're questioning yourself, he doesn't feel desired, he feels like you're simply giving because you feel you have to. But when your energy says, "I'm here because I want to be, I'm enjoying this as much as you are," suddenly it becomes addictive. That shift changes everything. Because in his mind, you're not just a partner giving pleasure. You're a woman whose presence electrifies the moment, whose energy makes ordinary actions extraordinary. And here's the thing: the body can only feel so much. Sensation has limits. But the mind, that's where addiction is created. That's where craving lives. The way you look at him while you're there, the little sounds you make, the intention in your movements. All of this tells him a story that he is the only man who has your attention, the only one who could bring out this side of you. That story is written with energy, not technique. And that story is what makes him replay the memory in his head over and over again when you're not around. Energy is contagious. If you are present, he feels it. If you are passionate, he feels it. If you are enjoying yourself, he feels it. And when a man feels that, it creates a loop. He wants to give more to you. He wants to keep you in that energy, and he begins to crave being around you, not just for pleasure, but for the way he feels in your presence. That's why people can have the same physical act with different partners, yet only one becomes unforgettable. The difference is always energy. So when you think of creating craving, don't obsess over doing more or finding some secret move. Ask yourself instead, am I fully present? Am I giving my energy? Am I enjoying this moment so much that it radiates from me? Because the truth is, that's the only secret you need to know. He won't remember every detail of what you did, but he will never forget the way you made him feel. And that feeling of being wanted, chosen, and consumed by your energy is what keeps him coming back for more again and again. If there is one thing that separates an experience, that fades from memory, and one that leaves a man craving more, it is playfulness. Playfulness is the art of building anticipation, of stretching out desire in a way that makes the moment so much more powerful than it would be if it was rushed. The truth is, when something is given too quickly, it loses a part of its magic. Think about how much more delicious food tastes when you've been waiting for it. How much more exciting a gift feels when it's been wrapped up and you can't quite see what's inside. The same principle applies to intimacy. Desire is not just about what happens in the body. It's about the dance of waiting, the thrill of not knowing exactly what will happen next. That is where playfulness works its magic. Most people make the mistake of treating intimacy like a race, as though the goal is to get to the finish line as fast as possible. But the real secret is that the slower you move, the more teasing you allow, the more unpredictable you become, the stronger the craving grows. because playfulness builds tension, and tension is the seed of desire. When you take your time, when you let moments linger, when you pull back just as he's leaning in, you are creating an addictive cycle of wanting and waiting. That cycle is what burns the experience into his memory and makes him long for it again and again. Playfulness also adds an element of unpredictability. If he knows exactly what is going to happen, there is no excitement. But when you surprise him, when you change the rhythm, when you pause at unexpected times, he can't get ahead of you. He's caught in the moment, hanging on every move, wondering what's next. That unpredictability keeps his mind engaged and his body on edge. It makes the experience feel alive instead of routine, and that feeling is what keeps him hooked. And there's another reason playfulness works. It communicates confidence and control. When you're playful, you're not afraid to take your time, to tease, to stretch the moment. That shows him that you are not rushing to please or afraid of losing his attention. Instead, you're showing him that you know the value of what you're giving, and you're going to let him earn it, feel it, and crave it. That confidence is irresistible. It sends the message that you're not just someone who gives, you're someone who knows how to create an experience, and that is unforgettable. Playfulness also transforms the act into something more than physical. It turns it into a game, a dance, a story you both create together. It makes him feel like he's part of something special, something unique that no one else could replicate. Because anyone can go through the mechanics, but only someone who knows how to build tension and tease can make the act feel like an adventure. And when he feels like you're leading him into that kind of adventure, he begins to crave not just the pleasure, but the thrill of being with you. Think about it, the best memories in life are rarely the ones where things happened instantly. They're the ones where you had to wait, where there was a build-up, where the anticipation made the release that much sweeter. Playfulness taps into that same psychology. It gives him something to think about long after the moment ends. He will replay not just what you did, but how you kept him guessing, how you made him laugh, how you left him wanting more at every turn. That's what sticks. So when you want to create true craving, don't rush to give everything away. Slow down, tease, change the pace, surprise him, and let playfulness weave its magic. Because when you make the journey as exciting as the destination, you turn an ordinary moment into one he will crave long after it's over. Confidence is the element that transforms an experience from ordinary into magnetic. It is the energy that makes a man lean in, that makes him not just enjoy what you're giving, but become addicted to the way you give it. When you carry yourself with confidence, you create a different atmosphere altogether. It's not about arrogance or performance. It's about an inner certainty, a quiet but undeniable signal that says, I know my worth, and I'm not afraid to show it. That kind of confidence doesn't just make him feel good. It makes him crave you because it's so rare and so irresistible. Think about how people respond to hesitation. When someone seems unsure, apologetic, or doubtful of themselves, it creates a feeling of disconnect. It doesn't matter how much effort they're putting in. If their energy says, I'm not confident in this, the other person feels it. Now, compare that with someone who fully embraces the moment, who isn't second guessing, who shows up with certainty. Suddenly, the same action carries a completely different weight. The confidence behind it changes the meaning of everything. And that's exactly what makes intimacy unforgettable. A man doesn't just crave the act itself, he craves how you make him feel about himself in the act. When you show up confidently, it tells him he is desired, that he inspires passion in you. It makes him feel powerful, attractive, and chosen. In that moment, your confidence is not just about you. It's about how you reflect his value back to him. And that reflection becomes addictive. Because when a man feels like you're fully enjoying yourself, when your energy says, I want this, I want you, it ignites a part of him that needs to feel desired. That's when he becomes hooked. Confidence also eliminates insecurity. Without confidence, there's a tendency to overthink. Am I doing this right? Is he satisfied? Am I enough? That inner doubt takes you out of the moment, and he can feel that disconnection. But when you are confident, you are present. You're not in your head, you're in the moment. That presence creates intimacy because he doesn't just feel your body, he feels your full attention. And that is something no technique can replace. And here's something crucial: confidence is not about perfection. It's not about knowing every move or being flawless. Confidence is about authenticity, about embracing who you are without apology. It's about allowing your natural energy to flow without hiding it. Men don't crave perfection. They crave passion. They crave certainty. They crave the kind of presence that only confidence brings. You could be unpredictable. You could even make mistakes. But if you own it with confidence, it becomes part of the attraction instead of a flaw. Confidence also creates leadership in the moment. When you're not timid, you're free to take control, to guide, to experiment. That sense of leadership keeps him engaged because he's not just passively receiving. He's being led into an experience he can't predict. And when you lead with confidence, it gives him permission to let go, to trust, to surrender into the moment. That surrender deepens intimacy, and the more he feels it, the more he craves it again. Ultimately, confidence makes you unforgettable because it combines certainty with passion. You're not waiting for him to validate you. You're not shrinking yourself. You're not hiding. You're giving with power, with intent, with presence. That energy lingers long after the act is over. He'll replay not only the pleasure, but the feeling of being with someone who knew her worth, who wasn't afraid to express it, who gave without fear. That memory etches itself deeper than anything else. So when you think of what makes a man crave you more, remember this: it's not about being perfect. It's about being confident. It's about showing up with energy that says, I want this, I want you, and I'm not afraid to express it. Because that kind of confidence isn't just attractive, it's addictive. And once he feels it, he'll want more of you again and again. When most people think about creating desire, they immediately think of the body. They focus on touch, movement, and sensation, believing that physical pleasure alone is enough to make someone crave more. But the truth is, the body is only half the story. The mind is the real powerhouse of attraction, the place where obsession is created. And if you know how to connect with a man's mind as well as his body, you elevate the experience to a level that he cannot forget. That is the real secret to making him crave you endlessly, going beyond what he feels physically and reaching into what he feels emotionally and psychologically. The mind is the greatest amplifier of pleasure. Think about it: anticipation, fantasy, memory, all of these live in the mind, not in the body. A man may enjoy the sensations you give him in the moment, but what makes him relive them again and again, long after it's over, is the emotional imprint you leave on him. And that imprint comes from how you connect with his thoughts and emotions. A whisper at the right time, a look in your eyes that tells him you're lost in the moment, a soft laugh that breaks the tension and makes it playful. These small things speak to his mind. They create a story. And stories are what people crave more than anything. When you understand this, you stop focusing only on the technical side of pleasure and start adding layers of emotional depth. Compliment him. Tell him how much you love what he's doing, how much you're enjoying yourself. Let him hear the desire in your voice. Words, even when they're simple, are incredibly powerful because they reach his mind directly. They tell him he's not just being touched, he's being wanted. They tell him he's not just giving you pleasure, he's inspiring it in you. That reflection of his power, his attractiveness, makes him crave the experience because it boosts something inside him that runs deeper than the physical. Eye contact is another way to connect with his mind. Looking at him while you're in the act, letting him see that you're present, that you're fully there, creates intensity that no technique can replicate. It says, I see you, I'm with you, and I want you. That kind of intimacy bypasses the body and hits the soul. It makes him feel special, chosen, unique. And when a man feels that, he can't help but crave more of it. This is where imagination also comes in. The body reacts to touch, but the mind reacts to mystery. If you leave him guessing, if you hint at how much you're enjoying yourself without giving everything away at once, you spark his imagination. His mind starts to run wild, filling in the gaps, replaying moments, creating fantasies around you. That mental loop is far more addictive than physical sensation alone, because the body might be satisfied for a while, but the mind never stops revisiting what excites it. And let's not forget the emotional aspect. Men, just like women, want to feel desired, appreciated, and significant. When you connect to his mind, you're giving him more than pleasure. You're giving him meaning. You're telling him through your energy, words, and presence that he matters, that this connection is more than surface level. That emotional bond, combined with physical pleasure, is what creates obsession. It's why he'll keep thinking about you long after it's over, why he'll crave not just your touch, but your presence. So when you want to make him crave you more, don't stop at the body, go deeper. Use your words, your eyes, your energy, your presence to reach his mind. Make him feel not just pleasure, but significance, not just release, but connection. Because while his body may forget the details, his mind will never forget the way you made him feel. And it is that feeling, the blend of passion and meaning, that keeps him coming back for more. Variety is what keeps desire alive, because no matter how pleasurable something is, if it becomes predictable, it starts to lose its edge. The human mind craves novelty, surprise, and change. That's why routines, no matter how enjoyable at first, can eventually feel dull. When it comes to intimacy, variety is the secret ingredient that prevents monotony and transforms a moment into an adventure. A man doesn't just crave what feels good, he craves what feels new, what keeps him guessing, what keeps him on his toes. When you know how to introduce variety, you make the experience addictive, because every time feels different and he never knows what to expect next. Think about it this way: if you eat your favorite meal every single day, eventually it stops exciting you. Not because it isn't good, but because your senses have grown too used to it. The same is true here. If everything always happens the same way, at the same pace, with the same rhythm, the novelty wears off. But if you introduce small changes, switching up speed, intensity, focus, you reignite his attention. Suddenly, he's alert again, curious, engaged, because he doesn't know what's coming next. That unpredictability is where true craving is born. Variety can be subtle. It doesn't always mean doing something completely different. It can be as simple as shifting rhythm, pausing when he least expects it, teasing instead of rushing. These small shifts make the experience dynamic. They keep his mind engaged and his body alive with anticipation. Remember, desire is less about instant gratification and more about building suspense. Every change you make adds another layer of excitement, and those layers combine to make him feel like he's experiencing something new every time. This unpredictability also builds trust. When you're confident enough to play with variety, to try new things, to shift the energy without fear, it shows that you are fully present and unafraid to explore. That kind of openness creates intimacy because it signals to him that you're not stuck in routine, you're creating moments together. And that sense of shared adventure makes him want to come back because he knows being with you will never be boring. Variety also has a psychological effect. It keeps his mind hooked. The brain releases more dopamine when pleasure is unpredictable. This is the same reason people get addicted to games of chance or surprises. When the brain doesn't know what's coming, every reward feels more powerful. By mixing up the experience, by surprising him, you're essentially creating that same addictive loop. He's not just enjoying the act, he's hooked on the unpredictability of what you'll do next. And here's the deeper truth. Variety shows him that you're invested in keeping the experience alive, not just for him, but for yourself too. It shows that you value passion enough to keep it interesting, to avoid letting things fall into routine. That kind of energy is rare, and it makes you unforgettable. It tells him you're someone who brings excitement, who brings freshness, who knows how to turn even familiar moments into something new. That quality doesn't just make him crave the experience, it makes him crave you. So when you want to build desire that lasts, don't fall into patterns. Change the rhythm, mix the pace, surprise him when he least expects it. Sometimes slow things down, sometimes turn up the intensity, sometimes hold back just when he thinks he's about to get everything. It's that unpredictability that keeps him thinking about you, that keeps him longing for more. Because when every time feels like the first time, when every moment feels unique, he'll never get tired of you. He'll only grow more addicted. The greatest secret to making a man crave you more is not giving everything away all at once. It's leaving him wanting more. Craving is born not from being completely satisfied, but from being left with just enough hunger to keep his mind hooked long after the moment is over. Too often, people think the goal is to give until there's nothing left to give, but what really makes someone unforgettable is the restraint, the subtle art of pulling back at the perfect time, the decision to let the memory linger unfinished so that he can't help but replay it again and again. That unfinished edge is what builds obsession. Think about the movies you can't stop thinking about, the ones with endings that leave questions in your mind, the ones that don't spell out everything. They stay with you precisely because they leave space for your imagination to fill in the blanks. The same principle applies to desire. If you give everything away in one sitting, there's no mystery, no anticipation for the next time. But if you end the moment with a little restraint, if you leave him hanging on the edge, he will think about it long after, craving not just what happened, but what didn't. This works because the mind feeds on anticipation. Satisfaction is temporary, but anticipation lasts. When he feels like he almost got everything, but not quite, he stays engaged. His imagination takes over, replaying the moment, wondering what would have happened if you had gone just a little further, anticipating when he'll get to experience it again. That anticipation turns into craving because he's no longer just remembering what you gave him. He's longing for the part you didn't. Leaving him wanting more also shows confidence. It communicates that you don't need to overgive, that you're not trying to prove yourself by exhausting every ounce of energy to please him. Instead, it says, I know the value of what I give, and I know it's enough to leave you thinking about me even after it's over. That self-assured restraint is magnetic. It makes him respect you, admire you, and crave you all at the same time. Because what's scarce becomes valuable, and what's withheld becomes desirable. It also shifts the power dynamic. When you're the one who decides when to give and when to stop, you're showing him that you're in control of the rhythm of the experience. That kind of control is intoxicating. It makes him want to chase, to lean in, to keep coming back, because he knows he can't get everything at once. That chase, that pursuit, is what keeps desire alive. If he feels like he has all of you without effort, he might enjoy it in the moment, but he won't crave it. If he feels like there's always more to discover, he'll never stop wanting it. The beauty of leaving him wanting more is that it doesn't feel like denial. It feels like an invitation. You're not shutting him out, you're drawing him in, giving him a taste, and then leaving space for his desire to grow. You're planting a seed in his mind that will keep blooming even when you're not around. That seed is what keeps him checking his phone, thinking about you during his day, replaying every second because he can't shake the feeling that he hasn't had enough. So the real secret isn't in giving him everything he thinks he wants. It's in giving him enough to satisfy the moment while leaving him hungry for more. That hunger is what makes him crave you, not just the pleasure you give, but the